Hey, Narcos said. Is it fun hitting people with that thing? The corner of the punk's mouth curled up. Oh yeah, real fun. Only a dumbass beats people with their bare hands. You just wind up hurting your fist. If you're gonna enjoy some violence, you gotta have yourself a weapon. Aha, I see. In that case, maybe give it a rest with that stick, yeah? Huh? What for? The punk scowled in irritation. Don't get me wrong, Minorcao said. I'm just saying there have to be better weapons than that. Something that could take a man down in a single blow? The kid stopped to consider Minorcao's words for a moment. I getcha. Yeah, you might be right about that. I think I have just the thing. May as well go with my usual. He tossed away the piece of wood on the side of the road. Don't you go anywhere until I get back. Got it. Yeah, sure thing. When Arcao watched as the punk headed back to the way he'd come. Man, he murmured, what a dumbass. Looking around, he spotted a taxi parked close by. It was Kumizuki. Kumizuka. Do you need a ride, sir? Kumizuka asked, all politeness as he opened the black door. If you're heading to that publishing office again, I can get you there in 10 minutes. Kumizuka's driving was as smooth as always. He wove his way skillfully through a series of back streets. There was some big explosion earlier, he explained. The main roads are all gridlocked. Yeah, I'm murdered. I was there when it happened. Oh, wow, really? Glad to see you're not hurt then. Still, what a terrible thing. That minivan. I hear someone was inside when it exploded. I'm not sure if you were aware. Yeah, I'm aware. Oh, nothing gets past a reporter like you, I see. Kumizuka flashed Minorcao an approving smile through the rearview mirror. How much have you heard then? Rumor has it that the person who died was a middle-aged man. Oh, huh. We taxi drivers tend to hear quite a bit ourselves. Kumizuka chuckled, but Minorcao just cast his eye. Oi, get back here! A threatening shout rang out from nearby. Achi looked around, startled, and saw a boy about high school age bolting out from behind a building on a side street. Several slightly older young men were hot on his heels. Achi knew their faces all too well. They were all members of SOS. They got their quarry just before he could make it out onto the main road. Gotcha, newbie. So the kid they were after must have been a new member, too. Let me go! Oh, we'll let you go, alright. After you pay up! One of the young men snatched the boy by the collar and shoved him against the wall of a nearby building. Ow! The boy's face scrunched up. What are you talking about? Playing dumb, huh? Interjected one of the onlookers. We told you that members all have to pay monthly dues, yeah? The privilege of getting to call yourself SOS don't come free after all. Achi felt this blood boil. SOS was trying to pull a shakedown on this new kid under the guise of calling it dues. It would have been unthinkable for them to do something like this back when Achi was running the show. Hey, he barked. Let the kid go. Marsh told the group. Say, what now? They turned to look, their faces immediately going pale. Oh, hey, Achi. Let him go. Achi focused his glare on the fellow holding the kid until he released his grip. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? None of the gang members answered. They merely turned their gazes glumly to the ground. Achi turned to the younger boy. Since when have they been doing this? But of course he realized there was no way the newbie would be able to tell him. Never mind, you can go, Achi gestured toward the main road. The boy was quick to run off. Achi waited until the boy was gone before turning back to the others. Does Suzumu know you're going around collecting dues like this? He asked. Man, we don't gotta tell you that, one of them murmured. Not since you deserted. What'd you just say? Achi leaned in close, getting right in the guy's face. He was met with a defiant sneer. This ain't the old SOS no more. Not the old SOS. Achi thought back to the other gang member he'd run into earlier with the malicious gleam in his eyes. That guy. Pretty sure he said his name was Kiryu. Back when Achi had been with SOS, he'd never have let a guy like that get away with acting like all high and mighty. Now it seemed like all these young fellows were ready to follow suit, eager to take him down a peg. Your old news, pal. Ain't your business to tell us how to do things. Achi felt a confusing flood of anger and sadness that he couldn't quite control. I'm not sticking around here, you guys. He grabbed the nearest punk by the collar and lifted him up in the air. Then someone shouted from behind him. Hey, what are you doing? Achi put the guy down and turned around to see Susumu standing there. Don't tell me just what's going on here, Achi. Susumu flashed his underlings a sharp glare. They immediately took to their heels. And she was about to just let them go, he raced after them. Just what the hell was going on with that SOS? I should need to talk to Susumu. Just what the hell was going on with SOS? I should need to talk to Susumu. That's what was going on here. There was a threatening tone to Susumu's voice. That's what I want to know. What the hell has happened to SOS, man? Susumu's face twisted with displeasure. You're an outsider now. That's none of your business. I don't give a damn if it's my business or not. When I left you in charge of SOS, You shut your damn mouth, Susumu roared. Yeah, that's right. You left me in charge. So don't you dare give me any lip now about how I run things. His sudden ferocity left Achi at a loss for words. You're not the one busting your ass out here. I am. Susumu stalked toward Achi, his face red with emotion. I've had to work so hard to keep things going with you gone. Do you have any idea what it's been like? Do you know what I've had to put myself through to keep SOS together? There's nothing Achi could say to that. He just kept his mouth shut and let Susumu talk. You were gone. I thought maybe I could do things like you did. All at once, Susumu seemed to deflate a little. He hung his head, hiding his face. And if I couldn't be like you then... Hey man, I get it, and I'm sorry. But Susumu kept his face averted. Please, he muttered. Stay out of our business. Then he turned on his heel and headed off without looking back. Achi watched him leave, feeling a painful sting. Achi? Hitomi asked after Susumu was gone. Are you sure you're okay leaving things like this? Achi shrugged heavily. Susumu said he's doing what he can. It's not my place to butt in. He turned his back to Hitomi. He still needed a moment. Achi, you're being unreasonable. About what? He felt like he'd been wounded to his very core and he wasn't sure what to do about it. You want to help people who are in trouble, right? Hitomi asked quietly. Yeah, I guess. Achi's voice was glum. Well, I'm in a whole lot of trouble right now. Yeah, I know that. No, Achi, you don't. Hitomi's tone was clipped and firm. Please go to your sister. What are you talking about? That doesn't matter now. Yes, it does. Hitomi's shout stopped in his tracks. Achi, right now the thing I'm having the most trouble with is that you won't go to the hospital. Don't you get it? How can I possibly be happy with you helping me if you have to sacrifice your own sister to do it? Oh, this is a good idea. Achi couldn't answer that, and he knew it. Please go to the hospital. I'm asking you to, and I'm definitely someone in trouble, so it doesn't count as breaking your promise, right? I appreciate that, Achi said softly. I don't know if it's a good idea to go, though. So how about we drop by the hospital for a bit? Emotions that she had been trying to hide now came welling to the surface. Well, we'll go see Suzune, and after that, we can go look for your sister. Would that be okay with you? That would be more than okay with me. And at long last, Hitomi smiled at him. Back in sync with each other, Achi and Hitomi headed to the hospital. Shibuya Central Hospital was one of the foremost general hospitals in Japan, outfitted with top-notch medical facilities and staffed by highly skilled personnel. Individuals like Suzune with rare blood types were sent to the hospital from far and wide because of its cutting-edge hematology center. A hospital division that deals with blood, its goal is to provide high-end care to patients with blood disorders, including blood screening, treatments, transfusions, the management and supply of blood products, and other related services. Achi asked Hitomi to stay in the waiting area while he headed on into the hospital proper. From the visitor's entrance, he passed by the nurse's station, then entered the cardiovascular medicine section and walked along a row of examination rooms. The cardiovascular system includes the heart as well as the various blood vessels that circulate blood throughout the body. Cardiovascular medicine deals with heart and blood issues such as angina, heart attacks, heart failure, irregular pulse, and the like. You walked by the first room as quietly as possible, catching sight of a mother and daughter sitting together in chairs in the hallway. The mother is crying softly. Oh, Takuya, he's only 15, she murmured under her breath. The name Takuya didn't ring a bell. It was only 15 that got a reaction out of Achi. Only 15? Couldn't imagine anything good coming after that. To be cruelly taken away when one was still so young? Achi could feel the woman's pain as deeply as it were his own. When he reached Zuni's room, Dr. Sakai, the attending physician, explained her condition. The doctor did his best to keep his explanation simple, but Achi was too worked up to process much of what he said. He did manage to wrap his head around a few things. At around 10 o'clock that morning, Zuni had a seizure. Took them... Well, he had to turn off his phone. For a while, it had been touch and go, but finally her condition had stabilized. However, since she hadn't regained consciousness, she wasn't allowed any visitors. That was just as far as Achi could tell. What's your father doing today? He still hasn't come by, Dr. Sakai said. Achi wasn't sure what to tell him. It was certainly odd. There was no way his father wouldn't have rushed right to the hospital if he'd heard Suzune had taken a turn for the worse. I'll give you a call once she's woken up. For now, you can head on home for the day. Alright. Please keep a close eye on her, Doctor. Somberly, Achi went to find Hitomi in the waiting area. Outpatient reception and close of the day, leaving the hospital quiet. His footsteps echoed softly in the corridors. Then as he walked along, a peculiar sound drew his attention. It had come from over by the base of a nearby stairwell. Achi took a peek around the corner. Oh shit. The sight that greeted him nearly made him gasp aloud. In the dim light up ahead, he saw Cannon, and she had some white guy pressed against the wall, a knife to his throat. Achi quickly yanked his head back out of view. Could it be? Was this the man Cannon said she was after? Sadly not. Achi had to resist the urge to go charging out there. Some amateur heading in half-cocked might well be more of a liability to Cannon than any sort of help. He heard him mutter something to the man in English. We know nothing about Alfred's background, nationality, sex, age. Achi could just barely make out the words, but since it was all in English, she had no idea what they meant. We do know that whoever they are, they have connections to Langley. Slang for the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency CIA, headquartered in Langley, Virginia. Similar to referring to the Japanese government as Nakatacho, the CIA has other nicknames including the company, the agency, the second government, the invisible government, and the co-makers? She peeked out again very cautiously in time to see the man raise an eyebrow at Cannon's words. Interesting. That doesn't mean you need to threaten me at knife point, though. He flashed her a thin smile. It does, actually, because I happen to know that you're a CIA agent. Technically known as officers, the CIA refers to its own spies as agents. Someone in charge of directing agents is called the case officer. Case officers are stationed at embassies across the world in the public eyes of diplomats, soldiers, and the like. No sooner were Cannon's words out than the man grabbed her arm and tried to hurl her against the wall. Just before her head connected, though, she jackknifed her upper body forward, bunted both feet against the wall, and kicked off with tremendous force. She used her momentum to launch herself forward, regaining her position with her knife against the man's throat. But during its brief opening, the man had managed to draw a gun from inside his jacket, and now the barrel was pressed right against Cannon's heart. I just swallowed the lump in his throat. How about we call a truce, Cannon said softly. She withdrew her knife. Yeah, sounds like you and me are both after the same thing. The man likewise lowered his gun. With a faint smile, Cannon turned her back on him and vanished down the adjacent stairwell. Achi had no idea what had just happened. They'd stopped fighting though, so this guy probably wasn't Cannon's master man after all. If only Achi spoke a little English, she might have been able to follow their conversation. He found himself wishing he'd taken school more seriously. When he looked again, he saw that the man too had disappeared. Ooh, boy. Hitomi stood up from their chair as Achi hurried into the waiting room area. How's Izune? She asked. For now, she's not in any immediate danger, they said. It's good to hear. But more importantly, Cannon was here just now. What? Why? I'm not sure. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Achi slumped his shoulders. Huh? What? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Exactly. I couldn't understand anything she was saying. I couldn't even figure out how he got through to Hitomi. May I have a moment? The voice spoke unexpectedly from behind Achi. His breath caught in his throat as he turned around. Standing there was the man Canada had been struggling with. What's up? Achi asked. He tried to sound as nonchalant as possible, but the man wasn't looking at Achi. You're Hitomi Osawa, is that right? Ah, yes. Hey, Achi snapped. Keep your distance. He stepped protectively in front of Hitomi. This guy. He's not what he looks like. Achi clenched his fist and adopted a defensive posture. Huh? Hitomi seemed panicked. Achi said, I feel like they're both the wrong answer. I don't know who he is, but he's not our friend. The man calmly reached into his jacket pocket. Fearing he might be able to draw his gun, Achi braced for action. Regional security officer could use that arrest 2009. It's like My name is Jack Stanley. I'm a security assistant officer with the U.S. Embassy. Achi held back his punch as the man held out his ID card. Diplomats are issued diplomatic passports and diplomatic ID cards, but their home government, Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, also issues its own form of a diplomatic identification card. The CIA provides such identification to its operatives working overseas to help maintain their false identities. Embassy. What does someone from the U.S. Embassy want with me? Hitomi asked timidly. You're being targeted by a dangerous criminal. I'm here to take you into protective custody. Custody? Achi's temper flared. Buzz off, pal. We're busy here. Busy searching for Maria Osawa? Stanley asked. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. I know the full details of the trouble you currently find yourselves in. Well, alright then, Achi said. You should know we don't have time to get taken into custody. I'm afraid you don't understand the situation we're dealing with. We're up against a dangerous international criminal here. Taking reckless action is only going to put her life in danger. Don't be a fool. This is no time to play the knight in shining armor. Hey! Achi was infuriated but he couldn't think of a comeback. After all, it was true that Hitomi had run into danger time and again while she was with him. But I'm already safe, Hitomi insisted. I'm only here right now because Achi has been protecting me. She eyed Stanley sharply. I've got Achi with me. I don't need your protection. Achi felt a surge of pride that practically brought tears to his eyes. If Hitomi would have let him, he'd have given her an enormous hug. Stanley grimaced in resignation. Alright. In that case, how about I join your search for Maria? I can help keep you safe that way instead. I don't know. Hitomi grabbed hold of Achi's sleeve. The Stanley fellow didn't have the most trustworthy face, Achi thought, but he realized that he might be biased after being chased around by foreigners all day. After all, if this guy really were after Hitomi, he'd probably have already made a show of force. Not only did he have a gun on him, he was sufficiently skilled in martial arts to hold his own against a cannon. He'd have no trouble taking down a single unarmed opponent like Achi. Hitomi, I get the impression that Stanley guy is not our enemy right now. Hitomi gave a slight nod. Alright. I trust your judgment on this, Achi. Now then, what's the plan from here? Stanley asked. Not wandering aimlessly around town, I hope. There was a trace of snideness in his voice. You can just keep your mouth shut, Achi replied. We can wander around town all day if we feel like it. So you can play the snarky game, he thought to himself. Poor Hitomi looked distressed. Very well, if that's what you want, I can stay quiet. First, I need to inform the police that I have Miss Osawa in my custody. Wait, hold on, Tommy blurted. That isn't a good idea, Stanley inclined his head. Why is that? Well, since you already seem to know most of the story, Tommy quickly explained that kidnappers started to describe the search for the minivan. Stanley remained quiet, listening with obvious interest. I see, he said when she's finished. Still, when that minivan exploded, didn't that make your promise to the kidnappers a moot point? Tommy nodded. I suppose it did, didn't it? Let me ask just one more question. Do either of you know a detective by the name of Tateno? No, we haven't run into any detectives. Yeah, exactly. The only folks we seem to run into are guys who are out there at Hitomi. I see. Grim expression crossed on his face. Right, I'm going to get in touch with the investigation task force. I'll have them contact your parents for you. Would you mind speaking with them so they can confirm it's really you? Sure, alright, Hitomi said. Sonny got on his wireless and described the current circumstances to the police. Mr. Endo, hold on! Suddenly, Dr. Seiki appeared running down the hallway. There's something I forgot to tell you, regarding your father. Oh? Achi got a sinking feeling. Got a call from him yesterday afternoon, and he asked me something rather odd. I feel like I know what it is. Preparations for a transplant? I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're asking. Seiki clutched the receiver. Daisuke Endo's brooding tone was more than a little disturbing. No, it's alright, Endo said. This is all just difficult to talk about, Doctor. Please forget I said anything. There's just one important thing I wanted to let you know. Yes? There's going to be a brain-dead woman coming your way at probably around 9 o'clock this evening, I expect. 9? Her blood type is Bombay. Bombay was an extremely rare blood type that Endo's daughter Suzune possessed. Any transplant donor for Suzune could also need to have the Bombay blood type. Since she has the same blood type as Suzune, the transplant itself is an issue, Endo continued. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether the procedure can be done within the limited time window. And I hate to trouble you, but I just called because I think it would be best to prepare for the surgery as soon as possible. The more Psyche heard, the more disturbed he grew. Felt like he was listening to this man go on about some strange delusion. Doctor, please just take good care of us today. Man. With that, Endo hung up. Achi kept quiet as he listened to Dr. Seiki tell his story. Of course, that was yesterday, and I still haven't heard anything about a brain-dead girl turning up. After all, only God would know when someone would wind up in a state of brain death. But still, there was just something very strange about what your father said. It was as if he was certain that someone was going to wind up brain dead, or... Just stop right there, Achi exclaimed. Stanley and Hitomi turned in surprise. They were still in the middle of their wireless call to the police. Don't get me wrong, the doctor said hastily. I'm not trying to imply that your father would hurt anyone. What I'm worried about is your father's mental state and... No, Achi interrupted it again. That's not it. His own words from earlier spun within his head. So long as we have these cameras, this guy has nowhere to run. Security cameras. I'm sure this is the place. The man with the cane. He'd been on the phone with someone. That didn't mean anything. It was just a coincidence. It couldn't be true. Achi searched desperately for some other explanation. That was it. Anyone from the downtown committee could have used the camera in the monitoring room. Yeah, no one's been by to check today. Nothing wrong with a little nap, yeah? No dice. No one from downtown have been by the surveillance room today. Couldn't be. It couldn't. Achi began to tremble. Something the matter? Hitomi asked. Achi, you're pale as a ghost. Achi gazed beseechingly back into her face. With just one simple question, he could clear his whole thing up. Please tell me I'm overthinking this. He prayed inwardly before asking. Hitomi, would you mind telling me your blood type? Why do you ask? Please just tell me. I have a sort of weird blood type, Hitomi said. It's called Bombay. Bombay. The last piece of the puzzle fell into place. There was no longer any room for doubt. Achi found herself facing a sad and painful truth. Why? Why? With an anguished scream, Achi punched the wall as hard as he could. But his fist still didn't hurt as much as his heart. Dad? Why? Yep, to be continued. Oh, man.